I want to start out with the question, how much of our data, that is information that relates to us and who we are, can we access through our computer or our phone? And the answer is a lot. I can access my friend circle through social media like Facebook, my professional credentials through something like LinkedIn, my messages and emails through Google, my photos through Dropbox. Now I want us to ask, how much of that same data can be accessed if we were to turn off the cloud or in the absence of these platforms? How much of this data without these platforms can we retain that is truly ours? And the answer there is not any. If you think about how the internet works today, it's largely run by a few companies, your Facebooks, your Amazons, your Googles of the world. And if you think about how they're extracting value, it's largely in the form of proprietary databases that store information, that store our identity, and that either sell that data to third parties or to influence our behavior. And this comes at a cost. For one, security. You think Cambridge Analytica, think Equifax, or just in general a complete lack of data ownership. The simplest example I like to give there is, imagine if I'm an Uber driver and I have stellar reviews, great 5-star ratings, and my reputation on Uber is extremely credible. Now I can't use that same reputation, those same ratings, and migrate it to something like a Lyft or something like an Airbnb. Now imagine a world where all of that data is brought back to the user, where with the use of a single standardized identity, you're able to access these applications and give permission for these applications to access certain parts of your data rather than them holding your data. And so for our senior design, we wanted to think about a way where we can shift the narrative back to this decentralized ethos of a true internet. And we wanted to start with the simplest of applications, and that is messaging.
So the problem with today's centralized messaging applications are twofold. First, there's the lack of interoperability, and second, the lack of data ownership. So a lack of interoperability means that, for example, if I want to talk to my mother and I'm using Messenger and she's using iMessage, we can't do that. And second, with data ownership, if I want to suddenly migrate from Messenger to iMessage or to Snapchat, I can't remove my messages and plug it into this a new platform. And so we're almost bound to the providers, the database providers such as Facebook or Apple. And so overall, there's a complete lack of synchronization. Our solution is to develop a decentralized messenger application to really address these pain points. We can do this with two design specifications. The first is decentralization. We're using a protocol called Blockchat that decentralizes identity and storage that really allows us to create a decentralized application. What this really means is that our messages are not going to be stored with Facebook or with Apple. Instead, it's going to be stored in our own storage. And so we have complete control over our messages. And this is easily done with Blockchat that provides that service. Our second design specification is standardization. We are formatting and creating a structure in which to send and receive messages that's completely standardized. That allows any other developer to build on top of our ecosystem to create their own user interface that suits their needs and what they think users want. And what's great about the standardization is that the user interface I create can, for example, communicate and message with the user interface that Yassine creates. And we think this is truly revolutionary. So here's a demo of our application. As you can see, the application's completely stored on on one's local host. And then you sign in using your Blockchat ID, which is a decentralized ID that you own completely. And then you just approve. And then, as you can see, this is a user interface for the structure we created. And anyone can create a new user interface, which is pretty revolutionary, and then that can communicate with anyone else's user interface. And on the surface level, it looks like a pretty standardized messaging app. But what's truly revolutionary here is that these messages are stored on your own storage, and we think that's pretty cool. And yeah, as you see, you log out, you sign back in, and your messages are there. So yeah, that's the demo.